When I first started gardening, I made more than my share of mistakes. But you don't know what you don't know, and many of those mistakes ended up teaching me my best lessons. After years of trial and error here in the desert, here are the 10 biggest lessons I've learned and what I do differently now that I know better. My very first garden beds weren't deep enough and they were surrounded by rock. 6-inch beds surrounded by gravel might work in other climates, but not here in the desert. The roots dried out, the soil baked, and my plants struggled. Now, my beds are at least 12 to 18 inches deep, and the pathways are filled with mulch instead of rock. It keeps the soil and the surrounding area cooler, and the plants are much happier. I used to use pesticides because I didn't know better. When I first started gardening, if something in my yard had bugs, I went to the store and bought whatever chemical they told me to. Looking back, I can't believe I sprayed those things without a hazmat suit. What I didn't realize was that I was making things worse, killing the good bugs and helping pests build resistance. Now, I focus on keeping plants healthy. It's the stressed out plants that attract bugs. I focus on adding companion plants and I let beneficial insects take care of most problems naturally. My first attempts at composting failed miserably. There were flies everywhere and it smelled terrible. I gave up and even called the city to take my bins back. But then I learned by doing at the Master Gardener Demonstration Garden. And that changed everything. I still remember the first time I got it right. I made all my family come out and see the pile heating up. Now composting, it's part of my routine. And if things get out of balance, I know how to fix it. Just because it's organic doesn't mean it's safe for everything in your garden. I stopped using pesticides, but I still thought organic treatments were harmless. I used to spray neem oil or soapy water at the first sign of a bug. I thought I was doing the right thing. Now I take a more hands-off approach. Observation first. Some bugs, like squash bugs, still need hand picking, but for most others, I watch and wait while beneficial insects move in. Once I learned to let them do their job, my garden found its own balance, and I realized I don't have to do it all myself. When I first started gardening, I planted at the wrong time. I remember this so clearly. It was so frustrating. Plants would sprout and grow, but they'd never make it to harvest before the heat set in. Eventually, I realized how important timing is and started learning the best time to plant each crop. Once I did, everything changed. That's what inspired me to create my planting guides and calendars, so other gardeners have the resources I wish I'd had. Timing really is everything in the desert. You can fix a lot of things in the garden, but not lack of sun. My first garden was in this side yard. It has limited light. Things grew just very slowly. I didn't understand how important sunlight is. When I expanded my garden into areas with plenty of morning sun and afternoon shade, I was shocked how quickly everything grew. Plants need sunlight to grow well. I used to water whenever I remembered, which wasn't often. My hose bib was in the front yard, so I had to walk back and forth to turn it on and off. It was kind of a pain. Eventually, I put that hose on a simple timer. I ran it under the fence and connected it to a simple drip line. It wasn't fancy, but it was consistent. Much better than relying on memory to water the garden. Once my plants started getting regular, deep water, they were less stressed and grew stronger. Believe it or not, I used to write about the importance of mulching, but I wasn't actually doing it. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I thought it was a waste of time. Then I started mulching, and I couldn't believe the difference. The soil stayed cooler, watering lasted longer, and the plants were happier. I felt like shouting, "You should mulch! I mean it this time!" So many things in the garden improve when you mulch. I used to grow things and then never harvest them. Sometimes I wasn't sure when to pick, and by the time I figured it out, it was overgrown or mushy. Other times, I planted crops we didn't like to eat, and then I didn't know what to do with them. Now I grow what we love and make sure we use it. Fresh, nutrient-dense food from the garden is the reward for all of the work. Don't skip it. I used to test my soil all the time. I'd worry about every number on the report, trying to make everything perfect. Now, I've learned to trust what I see. If my plants are growing well, I'm not overusing fertilizer, I'm adding compost, and my vermicomposting bins are active, then the soil's probably doing just fine. Healthy plants are the best test results you can get. I've made more mistakes than I can count, and I'm still learning every season. But that's what I love about gardening. There's always something new to figure out. What lessons have you learned the hard way? Let me know in the comments. Want a thriving desert garden? Join my monthly online classes, live or on replay, and get instant access to past classes and journals. Bring your questions and let's grow together in Growing in the Garden Academy.